What's up, Team Lethal fans? Mustang King in the house. Resting behind me is our 2020 Shelby GT500 carbon fiber track pack. I am proud to finally announce that I am part of the 8-second club. That's right, I'm an 8-second boy. I am one of 4 people who have run 8s in this car with the factory DCT. There's one other car with a TH400 that went 8s. However, with the factory DCT, I am one of 4. Woo! So today, what we're gonna do is talk a little bit about the car. Basically, before we purchased it when it was first announced, we're gonna talk about taking delivery of it, then the build, our struggles to get the car down the track and into the 8s, and then I'll finally tell you about my 8-second pass. Well, if you guys have been following us, we are not new to the Shelby GT500. We actually picked up our first Shelby GT500 in 2008 from Whipple'd Ford over in Lake Wales. Then we got a 2010 GT500 and then a 2013 GT500. All those were manual cars driven by Derek Perez as well as Jeremy Martorella, because I'm scared shit to actually drive a manual car with a ton of power. However, we had awesome results with all 3 of those cars. Tons of great videos out there on our YouTube channel, so definitely check them out after you watch this video. Little did we know, 2013 would be the last year we had seen a GT500 model from Ford until 2020. That's a lot of years, by the way. We've been anxiously waiting for it to come out. We had heard rumors of it, we've seen some spy shots of it, and it was finally released back in 2019. I was actually at a video release party with my good friend Billy Johnson, professional race car driver and good friend, and we talked a little bit about the car. He was actually part of testing and development of this car, and he told me that it was insane. So basically, talking to Billy, he told me there's gonna be 2 versions of this vehicle, just their standard GT500, and then the carbon fiber track pack. The carbon fiber track pack is about an $18-something thousand difference. Comes with the carbon fiber wheels, carbon fiber GT4 style spoiler. We've got a carbon fiber dash in here and no rear seat in there. So he said to me, if you're gonna do it right, get the carbon fiber track pack. So that's what I did. Well, we placed our order with Philip Weichert over at Whipple'd Ford. He was gracious enough to give me his personal golden ticket allocation to build this car. Now, the wait was quite a long time. The car was finally delivered to us in July of 2020. When I actually took delivery of it, I went up there and dressed up as an old man, because that's how much time had passed by from the time I ordered it to the time actually receiving it.
I ordered the car, but I tell you, oh, jeez.
However, once we got it, I was so excited. We did some burnouts in the dealer lot. It was awesome. Now, we like to do our builds nice and slow, take it step by step, showcase to the customer what these cars can do with basic bolt-on mods. In this case, since it's supercharged, a smaller pulley, a cold air intake, a custom tune, maybe some suspension mods. However, during COVID, it was insane with business. We got really busy and did not have a chance to do that. So we just did a couple of basic mods, kept it real quiet, and then went all in. What was the first mod on this car? It was a Corsa Performance 3-inch active Catback exhaust system with their double helix X-pipe, which sounds insane. In my opinion, definitely the best sounding exhaust system on this car. You could change the tone of it with the valves that you have, the active valve switch, and to tone it down whether you're driving through a neighborhood. Me personally, I like to put it in track mode. It makes an awesome backfire pop sound in between shifts, and again, has that awesome rumble to it, really aggressive sounding. Not overly though, it's not like real tinny or raspy or anything like that, but it sounds awesome. So Corsa Performance was it. The next was a UPR catch can to help us capture some of that oil mist from the valve cover through the PCV setup so it doesn't recirculate through the engine and the intercooler. And lastly, we did a couple of JLT pieces, which we actually still have their rock blockers on here, which held up great for my 8-second pass. So after those few mods that we initially installed on here, we did get invited to an awesome event by Corsa Performance. We actually got invited up to Pennsylvania at the Pittsburgh International Race Park, where I got to road course this car for 3 hours. Myself, no driver in there with me. I got to learn this car a bit. Again, I'm an amateur driver, guys. It was my first time ever going around the road course, and I was really thankful to have that DCT in here. It did an amazing job. I just put it in track mode, let it shift by itself, and I was ripping, man. I was going over 130 miles an hour into a couple of those turns, and this car handled awesome. So it was really cool to actually take that opportunity and be invited to it. There are some other guys out there we got to meet too. We had Justin from ACW out there. We had Gavin, it's just a 6. The Voss and Wheel guys were out there, Lingenfelter. So it felt really good to be out there, and this is in the midst of COVID while nothing is going on. I actually got to spend some quality time with this car and put it through some laps on that track, and it felt great. So previously mentioned, we really didn't have a lot of time to do any other modifications to this after that. We just were really consumed with running the business, making sure your guys' orders go out. And, you know, I've been speaking with Dustin Whipple over there. He's always innovating, working on it. We have been talking about this car and the upgraded Supercharger kit that he's going to have available for it, but it was still quite some time from the time we went to race the car up in Pennsylvania till when that blower was ready. So it was kind of good though. It really worked out for us because we did have a chance to plan out our build, figure what we want to do, and then we went all in. So here it is, the finished product. This car sits exactly how it went down the track for my 8-second pass, with the exception of the only thing I did have off the vehicle was that carbon fiber track pack spoiler, and I did feel that at the 150 plus mile an hour, that spoiler creates so much downforce that it was slowing me down, so I pulled it off, just 4 screws, put it in the garage, and that's how it went. So let's go a little more in depth on all the modifications on my 2020 Shelby GT500. All right. There we have it, guys. This is it. The heart of it all is right there. That is the Gen 5 3.8 liter Whipple Supercharger Kit for the 2020 GT500. This is also a non-ported blower. They do offer porting services for those all-out race combinations, and they also do offer a 150mm throttle body. However, this is non-ported and runs the 132mm throttle body. This Whipple Supercharger unit is a direct replacement for the factory 2.65 liter TVS that comes from the factory. This blower bolts right on, comes with all the components, including that air kit, all the hoses and fittings to make it work, and they did a really nice job on this. Dustin, good job, my man. I love you, bro. Whipple Superchargers, guys, if you don't know, they're the leader in supercharger technology. This is a twin screw blower, their newest design. You've got a lid up here with a dual core intercooler. The air comes up through the lid, cools it, goes back down through the intercoolers and into the engine. This is the most efficient supercharger that Whipple has ever made. The intake temperatures never went over 110 degrees on my 8-second pass, which is ridiculous. I don't have any ice tank. I don't run any other cooling mods on this vehicle except for again, the blower, the factory intercooler system, and the upgraded intercooler pump from Whipple, which is a piggyback pump to your factory intercooler pump. Early on, when the car was stock, UPR used our car to develop their oil catch can setup for it. And Steve, the catch can man, came over, installed it on our car. However, once we installed the Whipple, we needed to do a different setup on it. So we actually drove this down to UPR. We made an awesome video on it, and they reinstalled a new setup. This is their new catch can design for the 2020 and up Shelby GT500 with the Whipple on it. And we're the first guys to run it. And obviously it works great because it held up fine, captured all that oil mist that would normally recirculate through the intake, gunk up your intercooler, go inside your valve train, and stuff like that. So it's a great product, whether you're stock or you're running an aftermarket blower or anything like that. Definitely having a catch can from UPR on there is a positive. So thank you guys over at UPR. Pretty much, it's a very simple build. The supporting mods consist of fuel, tuning, and exhaust. So let's go over them. The fuel system is a Lethal Performance Division X triple pump return style fuel system. We run 3 high pressure Walbro 465 liter per hour pumps in the Division X fuel hat. Then we feed it to our large Marge fuel filter, which runs a stainless element. From there, we split the lines off using a Y block to feed each Dash 8 rail that Whipple supplies in their kit. From there, we return the rails to the regulator, which is a Division X by Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. And then from there, it returns back to the tank. We got 3 pumps in there. We definitely had to choose an injector for the setup. Since we're running E85, I consulted with our tuner, Lund Racing, and he said, the power that you're looking to support, you're running E85, go with some Injector Dynamics ID 1700s, which is exactly what we're running. For the exhaust, we're running Stainless Works 2-inch stainless steel long tube headers, which goes to the Corsa Performance double helix X pipe and then the active Catback. It's as simple as that. Pretty easy. And it sounds gnarly, like insane, ridiculous. So we got the fuel system, we've got the exhaust. What else do we need to put it all together? Custom tuning. We have our good friends over at Lund Racing, did a phenomenal job on this vehicle. We actually took it over to Florida Speed and Performance on their Mustang dyno to dial in this Whipple setup. Now, they sent us a tune to be used on the HP Tuners RTD Plus device. Their first tune ran great. First pull, over 900 wheel horsepower on the 3.5-inch pulley. They took a look at a couple of data logs, which we emailed back and forth, and from there, they sent an updated tune. we did put the 3-inch pulley on there afterwards, which is another increase of 5 PSI over what it was running with the 3.5-inch pulley, and the next run made 1120 plus wheel horsepower on a Mustang dyno. So we know this thing is making some heat. So when it comes to custom tuning, a lot of guys really believe that the tuner has to be there in person with you, right next to you and the car on the dyno to make things happen. Now that is not the case with the technology that we have now, with the ability of being able to data log the car. It sees knock, it has the wideband sensors built in. All this data is recorded and then emailed over to the tuner. So this car was actually tuned by them while they're up in Pennsylvania, and this car was down here in Florida, and they nailed it down perfect. I think only one tune revision was made for that 3-inch pulley, and it was perfect, right on spot. They said fueling looked good, spark looked good, and obviously the car's making power. So when this car was stock, I took it down the track. I think I went like 1220s with it. Yes, it's horrible for a car that makes 760 horsepower at the flywheel. It should be going a little quicker than that. However, I'm an inexperienced driver, and I'm totally cool saying that. So now the feat was to take this car down the track, making over 1120 wheel horsepower on a Mustang dyno. And you know, it took a little bit of balls on my part to do that. I was actually really afraid on how to do that, as well as this car is a DCT, so there is no torque converter on here. You're not foot braking this to rev it up to a certain RPM and launch it. You do have to use the factory launch control, which has a max RPM launch of 3,200 RPMs. You've also got a couple different things you've got to do a burnout in here. It's all electronics, part of the track app modes, and I was intimidated with it. So with this car, the power that it makes, all the gadgets that you got to use to make it go down a track, and I believe my first pass, I did get into the 10s. However, I was expecting a lot more, so it does get frustrating like any other first time going out at the track with a new setup, and I felt like I was banging my head against the wall. So we had a couple issues where if you launch this car and the DCT clutches see too much temperature, they end up pretty much nosing the car over, and you got to back it up or redo the run because it basically shuts the car down. That's just a part of this platform here, and that's why only 4 people have gone 8s with the DCT setup, me being one of them. Another thing that we ran into at the track, because this blower and setup from Ford is a 8-rib belt setup. This is a big supercharger. It's turning a lot of RPMs, making a lot of power. We saw a lot of belt slip. I believe I actually snapped the belt too, one of those first times out the track. So to help alleviate any boost loss and belt slip, we looked to our good friends over at Griptec, who make an awesome grip style supercharger pulley that does a phenomenal job to alleviate boost loss. Yeah, so I believe I went like 939, and I actually cut some 19s. I believe I went 911 3 times in a row one night, and then 911 like the week before. So I was close, but I still needed that extra, you know, power driving still to get this car down the track and get it to the 8s, and the consensus was to put a smaller pulley on there. Going back up to the track with you in the car, Joe, that morning for that private rental, and the weather was nice. It was nice. It was a crisp morning. The air was good. There was no dew in the air or anything like that. Sun was out. I knew the track was going to be good, but I just didn't feel good about it. And I remember Joe was pumping me up, saying, "Man, no, today's the day you're going to do it. You're going 880s, bro. You're going 880s." I was just happy if I ran an 899 or better to get myself into the 8s. So I unloaded the car up there, and I pulled up to the line. They were actually racing some pretty sick street bikes out there. Actually, the fastest street bike in the world, I believe, was there that day. They were making passes in the right lane. I staged in the left lane, pull right up, go to launch, and it does that nose over thing with the DCT. It didn't throw a code or anything like that. No one was behind me. I backed it up again, dropped a whole bunch of pebbles on the staging lane and stuff like that, by the way. But I pulled right up again, didn't do another burnout, set everything ready to go, let it rip. The car felt so good and smooth. I saw 136 60 foot come up on the board, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. That's my best 60 foot so far in this car. I'm going down there. The car felt so good. No slip at all. I couldn't feel like any belt slip, no hiccup at all or anything like that. I'm banging shifts right as the tack hits 8,000. Now I'm supposed to be shifting this thing around 8,500 RPMs. The tack only goes to 8,000, so it's almost like a guessing game. I'm sitting there watching that needle go all the way up and hitting that 8,000 mark and making that shift, and boom, boom, and then past the line. I felt it. My video, my in-car video, I was like so excited. I'm like, this has gotta be it. And I remember coming back on the staging lane and looking up at the board, and I saw 886 at 163 miles an hour. And I'm looking behind me to see if anyone else had run after me, because I'm like, that can't be me. I was so excited. I rolled up there and I see Joe in the, you know, basically up there in the pits, and Joe's jumping up like, you did it, man, you did it, man. I was so happy, guys. I mean, I was on such a high then. It was such an accomplishment for me to build this car from what it was, from stock to making 1200 plus wheel horsepower to, you know, all the trials and tribulations that you run through at the drag strip on your first time out, your second time out. Just crap happens, guys, at a track. Nothing ever goes the way it should. And I finally got it. That day, it went the way I wanted to, and I became an 8-second boy. So being that this car is a carbon fiber track pack car from Ford, really meant to do road course stuff, these tires, which are the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, were not meant for drag racing. So we looked to our good friends over at Forgeline to set us up with a drag pack for this car. We're running their GS1Rs in the back here. These are 18-inch single beadlock wheels. We're also running a Mickey Thompson ET Street R in a 325/35/18. And these things hook. Again, a 136 60-foot is one of the best 60-foot times ever in a 2020 GT500, and I got it. Thank you, Mickey Thompson, and thank you, Forgeline. The biggest issue for me was during launch. When this thing launches, it launches hard. Cutting those 136 60-foot times, 137 60-foot times, this car throws you back into the seat, and you've got your hand basically on this paddle. There were a few times when testing, I actually was pushed back so much and my hand slipped on the steering wheel there to actually shift the car early and pretty much aborted the run. So there was a lot going on, a lot I needed to learn, and I'm grateful though for all the guys out there that have helped me with this. In speaking to the guys before me who had run 8s or run low 9s in this car, who are giving me helpful information about it, is great, because we're all in it together. Even though we're competing businesses and, you know, they sell parts or they do tuning and this and that, you know, it was great to have guys from Lund Racing, who are tuners, first off, help out, give me all of their expertise on this setup. Then speaking with Dalton Winkler over at Evolution Performance, who is the one who's gone the quickest in a 2020 GT500 with the DCT. And then down to Palm Beach Dyno, who is always at our track outings with us. They always invite us up there, always willing to help out. There's a few times where our belt snapped, and Jeremy was out there helping us make belt changes and stuff like that. So, you know, man, I tell you what, is great sportsmanship between all the people that were involved in this car and helping me to go 8, and I finally did it, and that's basically the story, guys. And I'm proud to say that I am one of 4 to go 8 in a 2020 GT500 with the DCT. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy this, seeing this whole experience about our 2020 GT500. If you guys do like our videos, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and myself or someone else here at Lethal Performance will do our best to reply. And if you're looking to build a 2020 Shelby GT500, maybe not as crazy as this one, just want to do some bolt-ons or even go all out like we did, feel free to give us a call at 561-753-8105. Mustang King, and I'm out. Take a look at this. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Look at that blue. Look at that blue. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. What a beautiful car. Is this a GT500? Take a look at this. Look at this right here. Look at this right there. You see that? That's the JLT rock blocker. That stayed on the car the entire time during my 8-second pass. Now these things protect the rocks from gathering up here on your rocker panel, and I'll tell you what, they work great, and they're very inexpensive. We sell them over here at Lethal Performance, so go get yourself a set of rock blockers from JLT.